distance. I can't believe I'm actually sharing this story with you all, but here goes. Picture this. I'm standing there in my front yard fuming, as this entitled neighbor of mine rants about how he's looking for a new puppy to train. Just like his current nightmare of a dog, and in a fit of pure, unfiltered pettiness, I hand him the address to what I know is a free adoption event for the most chaotic, loud, and aggressive puppies you can imagine. Not some cute little fluffballs, distance. Oh no, these are the ones that have been returned multiple times for biting, barking nonstop, and basically turning homes into war zones. And the best part, he took it hooks, line and sinker, and what happened next was absolute karma in action. But let me ask you right now, was I wrong for doing that? I mean, this guy had been making my life hell for months with his own poorly trained beast. So tell me in the comments, would you have done the same thing? Or am I the villain here? Okay, let's rewind to the beginning, because this didn't just happen out of nowhere. It built up over time, like a pressure cooker ready to explode. My name's Alex, by the way, I'm in my mid-30s, living in this quiet suburban neighborhood that's supposed to be all about peace and family vibes. I've got a wife, Sarah, who's the sweetest person you'll ever meet, and our 2 kids, Mia who's 8 and little Jake who's 5. We moved here about 3 years ago, thinking it was the perfect spot to raise a family. Big backyards, friendly neighbors, the whole package. Our house is this cozy 2-story with a white picket fence, and we even adopted a golden retriever named Buddy right after we settled in. Buddy's the best. Chill, loves the kids, never barks unless there's a reason. Life was good, you know. Mornings with coffee on the porch, evenings with barbecues, and weekends where the kids could play outside without a care. That all changed when the new neighbors moved in next door. Their names were Tom and Lisa, a couple in their late 40s, no kids, but they had this massive Rottweiler mix named Rex. From day one, I could tell they were the type who thought rules didn't apply to them. Tom was this burly guy with a perpetual scowl, always wearing tank tops that showed off his tattoos, and he'd blast his music late at night or rev his motorcycle engine just for fun. Lisa was quieter, but she enabled him, always smiling apologetically, but never actually doing anything to stop the nonsense. And Rex, oh man, that dog was a menace. He wasn't inherently bad, I don't think, but Tom had trained him, or rather, failed to train him, in the worst way possible. Rex would bark at everything, leaves falling, birds chirping, even the wind. It was this deep, guttural bark that shook the windows, and it went on for hours. Worse, Tom let him roam off, leash all the time, claiming Rex was too smart for a leash. Smart. The dog charged at anyone who walked by, including my kids. One time, Mia was riding her bike on the sidewalk, and Rex lunged at her, knocking her over. She scraped her knee pretty bad, and when I confronted Tom about it, he just laughed it off. He's just playing, man. Toughen up your kid. Can you imagine? I was livid, but Sarah talked me down, saying we should try to be neighborly. We tried, we really did. Over the next few months, I politely asked Tom multiple times to keep Rex under control. I'd say things like, "Hey Tom, the barking is keeping the kids up at night. Maybe a bark collar or some training classes." He'd nod and say, yeah, I'll look into it. But nothing ever changed. In fact, it got worse. Rex started digging under the fence and coming into our yard, chasing Buddy around and leaving presents everywhere one evening. I caught him growling at Jake through the window, and that was my breaking point. I called animal control, anonymously at first, reporting a loose, aggressive dog. They came out, talked to Tom, and he got a warning. Did that help? Tom figured out it was me, probably because I was the only one who'd complained before. And he started giving me these dirty looks every time we crossed paths. "Mind your own business, neighbor," he'd mutter. Lisa even came over once with a half-hearted apology cake, but it felt insincere, like she was just going through the motions. As the months dragged on, the stress started building up in ways I didn't expect. Sarah and I were arguing more because she wanted to move, but we couldn't afford it with the housing market being what it was. The kids were scared to play outside. Mia would cry if she heard Rex barking, and Jake started having nightmares about the big bad dog. I felt like a failure as a dad, you know? Like I couldn't even protect my own family in our homes. I'd lie awake at night, listening to that incessant barking, my mind racing with what ifs. What if Rex actually bit one of the kids? What if he got loose and hurt someone else? I researched local laws, even talked to a lawyer friend about nuisance complaints, but it all seemed so slow and bureaucratic. Tom, meanwhile, was oblivious or just didn't care. I'd see him out there yelling at Rex to shut up, but never actually doing anything effective. It was like he enjoyed the power trip of having this intimidating dog that terrorized the block. Then, things escalated in a way that pushed me over the edge. It was a sunny Saturday afternoon, and we were having a small birthday party for Jake in the backyard. Balloons, cake, a few neighborhood kids over. Everything was going great until Rex decided to crash the party. He busted through a weak spot in the fence Tom had never fixed, charged straight at the kids, and knocked over the table with the cake. Frosting everywhere, kids screaming, Buddy barking in defense. Jake was hysterical, clinging to Sarah, and one of the other parents had to scoop up their toddler before Rex could get too close. I grabbed a broom and shooed him back, but not before he snapped at my ankle, drawing a little blood. Tom came strolling over like it was no big deal, chuckling. Whoa, Rex, easy boy. Sorry about that, folks. He just gets excited. Excited, I lost it. I yelled at him right there in front of everyone. This is the last straw, Tom! Your dog is a danger, and if you don't get him under control, I'm suing you. He got defensive, puffing up his chest. Sue me. For what? He's a dog, man. Get over it. The party was ruined, and after everyone left, Sarah and I sat there cleaning up, both of us in tears. That night, I couldn't sleep. I was done being the nice guy. The next day, I started plotting. Not anything dangerous. Mind you, I wasn't about to hurt the dog or anything like that. Rex was just a product of bad ownership. But I needed some kind of justice. Some way to make Tom feel the pain he'd been inflicting on us. I spent hours online, scrolling through forums and local pet groups on Facebook and Reddit. That's when I stumbled upon this post in a local animal rescue group. It was about a free adoption event for puppies that had been surrendered from a hoarding situation. These weren't your average pups. They were a mix of breeds, mostly pit bull and shepherd crosses, known for being high energy, vocal, and yes, aggressive if not trained properly. The post was honest. These puppies need experienced owners. They're noisy, love to bark, and can be nippy. Free to good homes, but please be prepared for a challenge. The address was for a farm just outside town, where the rescue was holding the event. It hit me like a lightning bolt. This was perfect. Tom had mentioned a few times that he was thinking about getting a companion for Rex. Something to keep him company. He'd even asked around the neighborhood if anyone knew of free puppies, bragging about how he could handle any dog. I mulled it over for a couple of days, weighing the pros and cons. On one hand, distance. It felt a bit mean. Those puppies deserved good homes, not to end up with someone like Tom. But on the other, maybe this would be the wake-up call he needed. If he adopted one, it'd be like multiplying his problems, and perhaps he'd finally realize what it's like to deal with chaos he couldn't control. Plus, the rescue was clear about the challenges, so it wasn't like I was tricking him into something hidden. Still, my conscience nagged at me. Sarah noticed I was distracted and asked what was up. I told her about the idea, and she was torn. Alex, that's petty, she said, but then she paused and added, but after what happened at the party, I get it. Just don't do anything that could backfire. Her semi-approval was all I needed. I decided to go for it, but I had to play it smart. A week later, opportunity knocked. I was out mowing the lawn when Tom pulled up in his truck, Rex hanging out the window, barking as usual. He hopped out and waved me over, all buddy-buddy like nothing had happened. Hey, Alex, you hear about any free puppies around? Rex needs a playmate. My heart raced. This was it. I put on my best neutral face and said, actually, yeah. Saw something online about a free adoption event this weekend. Puppies that are full of energy. Perfect for someone like you who knows dogs. I scribbled down the address on a scrap of paper and handed it to him. They're noisy and aggressive types, but free. and they need strong owners. He grinned, slapping me on the back. Thanks, man. You're all right after all. Inside, I was smirking. He had no idea. So that's the situation I was in, and I had to make a choice. I'd set the trap, but part of me wondered if I'd gone too far. Before I tell you what happened next, I want you to pause and comment below what you would have done in my shoes. Would you have given him the address, or found another way? Let me know. I'm curious if I'm alone in this. All right, picking up from there. The adoption event was that Saturday, and I couldn't focus on anything else. Sarah and I took the kids to the park to distract ourselves, but my mind kept wandering. What if he didn't go? What if he did and came back with a puppy that made things even worse? By evening, I was a bundle of nerves. Then, around 7 p.m., I heard the truck pull up next door. I peeked out the window. There was Tom, unloading a crate from the back. Inside, I could hear yipping and growling. He'd done it. He'd adopted one. Or wait, make that two. I saw him carry in 2 crates, each with a squirming ball of fur. Lisa was there, looking a bit overwhelmed, but Tom was beaming like he'd won the lottery. These little guys are going to be beasts. He shouted to no one in particular. That night, the barking started almost immediately. But it wasn't just Rex anymore. It was a chorus. The puppies were relentless, high-pitched yaps mixed with Rex's deep booms. It echoed through the neighborhood like a bad symphony. I lay in bed, listening, and for the first time in months, I smiled. Sarah elbowed me. You did this, didn't you? I nodded, and she just sighed, but there was a hint of amusement in her eyes. The next morning, it was chaos next door. I heard Tom yelling, "Shut up! No biting!" Followed by crashes and more barks. By afternoon, one of the puppies had escaped into our yard. A scrappy little thing with sharp teeth and endless energy. Buddy chased it back, but not before it nipped at my shoe. I call everything okay, Tom? He looked haggard, sweat dripping down his face. These pups are wild, man, but I'll break 'em. Famous last words. Over the next week, it was glorious payback. The puppies barked all night, chewed everything in sight, and fought with Rex constantly. Tom tried taking them to the park, but they pulled him off his feet, chasing squirrels and snapping at other dogs. Lisa was at her wit's end. I overheard her arguing with him. We can't handle 3 dogs, Tom. Return them. But his ego wouldn't let him. He doubled down buying muzzles and shock collars, but nothing worked. The neighborhood started complaining. To him this time. Old Mrs. Jenkins across the street called animal control on them, and soon warnings piled up. One puppy bit a delivery guy, leading to a vet visit and threats of lawsuits. Tom's truck started sporting scratches from the dogs jumping in and out, and his yard turned into a mud pit from all the digging. The climax came about 2 weeks in. It was a stormy night, thunder rumbling, and the dogs were going berserk. Around midnight, I heard a massive crash. Sounded like furniture breaking. Then shouting, Tom cursing, Lisa screaming. I looked out and saw lights on, shadows moving frantically. The next morning, Tom knocked on my door, looking like he hadn't slept in days. Bags under his eyes, scratches on his arms. Alex, those puppies, they're demons. Rex hates them, they fight nonstop. One just destroyed our couch. I feigned sympathy. That's rough. Maybe they're not the right fit. He admitted defeat. I'm taking them back today, and I'm thinking of rehoming Rex too. Can't do this anymore, I nodded, hiding my triumphs. Smart move. Man. In the aftermath, things changed dramatically. Tom returned the puppies to the rescue. Turns out they warned him, but he ignored it. He found a better home for Rex with a trainer who specialized in tough cases. The house next door went quiet for the first time in forever. Tom and Lisa kept to themselves, no more loud music or revving engines. A month later, they put up a "for sale" sign and moved out. Rumor was the dog drama broke them. Lisa gave him an ultimatum. Our neighborhood breathed a sigh of relief. The kids played outside again, Buddy lounged in peace, and Sarah and I felt like we could finally relax. Was it perfect? No. But it felt like justice. I learned that sometimes a little pettiness goes a long way, but I also reflected on how things could have gone wrong. What if the puppies hurt someone? I got lucky. Looking back, This whole ordeal taught me that being a good neighbor means respecting boundaries. And if someone doesn't, karma or a well-timed tip might step in. But hey, that's my story. If you were on my side in all this, smash that like button. Subscribe for more wild tales like this one. I promise, there's plenty more where that came from. And share your final thoughts on this whole mess in the comments sections. Would you have given him the address? I'll see you all in the next story.